Get my brush out. How's everybody doing? How's the fragrance world? How's the fragrance life? Hope that everybody's doing all right out there. I just showered up. I just got ready because some of y'all don't like me sweating in my videos. I sweat a lot. It's been really hot, but is the summer, is it starting to cool down? Is it still hot? Is it still 70 degrees? Not 70, 90 plus. I want to be 70. Y'all ready? I see some people flowing in. How's everybody been doing? How's your weekend been going? I've been testing the new Kieran NYC fragrance called Salt. I think it's decent. It has a little bit of this powdery quality. I don't want to spoil the review, but it kind of reminds me of Allure Homme. Not Additional Blanche, the Extreme. Honestly does. It reminds me of that a little bit. Sorry, move my camera up a little bit. And I had tried another fragrance. I'll try to make the review for y'all. It's called Friday Edition by El Gonzo. And that's been a very interesting fragrance that I want to get my thoughts together so I don't make the review confusing. Look up the notes. It's kind of like a modern futuristic fougere. Ronald's in the house. Good to see you, Ronald. How's life treating you? It says Scent of the Night is a Spice Bomb Extreme. That one's everybody's loving the Spice Bomb Extreme. That one's still selling out. People are still going crazy for that one. When do you think that the popularity will die down on the Spice Bomb Extreme? I don't know when or if it will. It's a very popular one. Casey's in the house. Good to see you, Casey. How's life treating you? What's good? How's everybody's weekend? What did I wear today? I'm going to kick myself for not remembering. I have it sprayed on my arm here. It's the El Gonzo I just told you about. That's why I wasn't remembering. It's that Friday edition. That's what the fragrance is called. They have like 4 or 5 fragrances, and they're out of Spain. 4.2 ounce bottles, about $80. They're kind of modern, molecule-ish, but they're not bad. I'm not hyping them yet, but scent of the day is Zegna Aqua de Bergamoto. Sounds good. I let it go because I knew somebody wanted it out there, and I actually sold it for a fair price. I could have held on to it, and even at the time, I could have sold it for a lot more, and I could have held on to it. I used to have a bottle of Peruvian Ambrette, but I let that go for like $50-$60. I didn't really make any money on it, and for a fair price. But now, some people out there probably want a backup bottle or wish they could get a bottle of that. That's one of those fragrances that it's not going to be easy to find for a good price. Casey says, took a deep dive. Oh, I already read that. Did I? Zegna recently, Aqua Bergamoto, the Womo, the Zegna, the Shanghai. Oh, so you got into a bunch of them. I think the Milan, isn't the Milan the one with some fig, and some people spoken really highly on that one before? I don't know if I have any. I used to have that Peruvian Ambrette, but I don't think I have any more Zegnas in my personal collection anymore. Good brand, I'm sure. I do need to try some more of them. Just like Kenzo, I probably need to risk some money and blind buy some of them so I can review them for you guys and let y'all know what I think about them. Haven't dived into those. I did try Issey Miyake a bunch. I don't know if y'all seen some of the reviews. Some of them were good. And did do some pretty good things like Noir Argent. Essentially, it means like the agent of the night. It actually is a pretty good seductive date night-ish kind of fragrance. It's kind of a single note. I wish I had more complexity. That's one of the things I felt out of Issey Miyake. Like, I liked Astral Blue, and I think that one's discontinued and hard to find. Noir Argent might be discontinued, hard to find at this point, but I know Astral Blue is, and it was a good fragrance, but I wish it did what it intended to do very well, and it was a successful fragrance. I just wish it had, something changed, even if it wanted to keep that signature DNA. But it's one of the very few deep blue fragrances that's not overtly aquatic or tropical or anything like that. And I've had some people ask me for a fragrance like that, and then they're like, I can't buy it anywhere. You're probably not going to find that TJ Maxx or Ross. You'd be lucky to find it on the internet if you ever wanted to find it. I know Zegna for clothes, so trying the fragrance. Yeah, I've never bought too much designer or high-end clothing. I need to get a better wardrobe. I've never bought an expensive clothing like that. Do you recommend Zegna? Or are there any brands that you would recommend for some nice clothes? I've never particularly gotten into fashion too deeply. I would like to find some brands that I particularly like. I About the most expensive things I ever bought. I bought some Tommy Bahama flip flops one time. And I got a Tommy Hilfiger jacket on clearance. I didn't even pay full price for it. I got it on a big discount. And I think I have some Lucky shorts, but I've never worn them. I keep them in my closet, and I got them on a big sale at a discount store, and it still was, it wasn't that expensive to most people, but probably the most I've ever paid for some shorts, and it was on sale too. Casey says Zegna clothing is the best off the rack for business attire. Canali is a good one too. I'm not familiar with Canali at all, but I'll have to look into those and see what I think about them. Does Steve Madden make clothing? I got one of their shoes one time, and I kind of liked. I don't know. I haven't really looked at the clothes, but I remember seeing the outfits on the models, and I remember liking the style of Steve Madden in general. So, interesting conversation. I didn't know we get into fashion, but that's a fun topic. And sorry if I'm a little bit tired. I am. I just washed the car, and I've been outside in the heat. I've been working on some outdoor projects and things, and I just washed and detailed the car fairly well. I love having a very clean car, like it's brand new. You walk into it and it's pristine. I'm very fussy about that. So I'm probably going to go over the whole thing, clean the outside and the inside again, because I love that new car feeling. So even though I don't have a new car, it's not a bad car, but just purchased a cheapy gym. Sean John, is that Sam? Oh, 3 a.m. Yeah, I've heard really good things about it. I've heard it's a really good citrus, fresh fragrance, makes you feel good. Not great longevity on it, but it still feels really good. Not everybody talks about it, but some people say it's really great. I haven't really gotten it or reviewed it yet. I do like citrus, but I'm usually fairly picky on my citrus. The next time I mess with citrus, I might have to be something that's mixed in with some florals. There's one called like linden or something. It has something to do with linden blossoms from the house of Baruti. I like that fragrance, but it's more of a floral than anything. I might mess with an Atelier, even though they don't last very long. Their orange sanguine. It's kind of simple, but it's nice. I could mess with Precious Liquids. They have their mandarin fragrance. That was pretty enjoyable. So, yeah. Zegna is an Italian clothing mill. They make fabric. They see their fabrics. Okay, so they make the fabrics. So then, so they're not just sourcing it to making fashion. They're on top of their quality, huh? Does Zaharoff still make suits? Honestly, I don't think so, but I don't know. As far as I know, Zaharoff is not making fashion any longer. I think when they first started, they actually catered more for women's fashion, if I remember right. I read some of the history at one point, but I don't think they do anymore. You might have to message the man himself. I'm not too deep into the world of fashion. I need to become more aware. I know the basics, but again, maybe if I had the money for it, and maybe if I was raised around that culture, I would. If y'all don't know much about me, again, I don't know if I come through and have that much of an accent, Southern accent, but I was raised pretty deep in the South. My grandparents on my mom's side think we speak incorrectly because we don't have much of an accent. And if it sounds like I have a bad accent, people around me think I speak funny because I don't speak right, because I don't have enough of an accent. And we don't really have, this town, small city, still doesn't have any luxury brands. Doesn't have Dior, doesn't have Chanel, doesn't have any name brand fashion house. We don't even have stores that carry them. We don't even have stores that sell them. We don't have a BMW, Porsche, anything like that in this. And this is a city that everybody for miles and miles, 50 miles, maybe 100 miles. They come here. They come here for their shopping. So if people travel 30, 40, 50 miles to come to this city, and we don't have that kind of stuff, that kind of tells you the environment around. Nothing's wrong with that. Not everybody has that or cares about that, but I just wanted to let y'all know a little bit about me. Casey says, I think Zegna, New York would be one that you would like most. Okay, I'll have to look into that. The New York, some good depth and darkness. I like a little bit of complexity. Sometimes I'd like some incense or some amber or some woody tones. I like something to give it weight, something in the background. Sometimes florals can do that for me, like some anise, like a licorice or tuberose, something that gives it body to the fragrance. Sandalwood's always nice. Sandalwood usually does a fairly good job. So thank you for the recommendations, though. You got me some food, something else to look into. Honestly, we'll talk about fragrance here in a second. We'll get to the new releases. We'll get to some of the fragrance news and some more details. But as far as my hobbies go, I don't know if you'll ever do things that are nostalgic for you. Some of y'all might be into sports. I'm not sure what hobbies y'all are into. But for me, as a kid, I didn't get to play it very too much, but I liked StarCraft. And I've watched a couple professional matches on YouTube of StarCraft 2. And I never paid attention to them or looked them up. And I found some of them very fun. But some of y'all might not think competitive gaming is too entertaining, but I thought it was pretty cool. I like strategy, and these people are crazy. And I don't know if y'all know, but about clicks or actions per minute, I think they call it APM, actions per minute. So every touch on your keyboard, like a letter. And this is a strategy video game. So usually these are based on like hotkeys, like going to a building or a select group of units or soldiers or things that you control. And some of these people can do 600 per minute. So they could do like 10. It's almost like 10 actions in a second. It's wild. It's insane. They're like computers, man. So Gam says, "Hey bud, what's going on?" I'm doing good. I just detailed the car today. I've been working on, again, I'm an outdoorsman. And I've been putting together some knives, and I've been outdoor stuff, and I've been doing some of that. I've been trying to take care of things and make sure things happen. So I've been having some fun with that, and trying to keep life, keep a hold and doing do all the things you're supposed to, all that. So. What do you think of Guerlain? Casey asked. I find it such a consistent house. Most are unique, well-performing, and a good price. Never go wrong. Yeah, they have some good ones. I really want Tonka Imperial in the collection. I haven't explored a lot of their high-end, the vintage or their older high-end niche fragrances, but I've tried a few of them. The few that I've tried were all excellent. I don't think I've released the review yet, but there's the Guerlain L'Homme, the EDP version, the smoky cherry fragrance. That there's a bunch of different flankers, so it's the smoky cherry one. If you know what I'm talking about, you know which one it is, and I'll have that review for y'all during the fall or getting closer towards the cooler months. Pretty nice fragrance. I'm happy with it. I think I'm going to keep it in the collection. I'm thinking about selling it, but I think it might stay. It is a nice fragrance. I haven't found another cherry fragrance to replace it, so it's a good one. Yeah, I haven't tried Guerlain Fashion. Honestly, if you sat in front of me and showed me fashion from, I could probably pick out Versace, especially if you put the Medusa heads on it. I know the Versace logo, but if you put Dolce & Gabbana in front of me, Dior or Chanel, and different suits without the symbols on them, like I couldn't, you didn't show me the logos, I might not be able to tell you the difference. I'm not educated enough. But as far as fragrance wise, yeah, Guerlain's pretty consistent. I think they had a good run with their line. I think they've had a good amount of success with it. Fairly well received overall in the fragrance community. I think there was the Guerlain L'Homme Sport. That was about the only one that people kind of ignored or said fairly negative things about it. but most of the other ones were respected, and some of them were hyped up pretty well. So I think that they're going to continue with their fragrance line. I don't know if they're going to give us a lot more fragrances in the future, or just a couple here and there, but I think they're going to continue. That's for sure. So but some of these brands like Ferrari, they've kept making releases and people only buy them at discounters once they go on sale, even though they had a good with their Essence line, with their newer line that came out a couple years ago with like Bright Neroli and all that good stuff. I don't know. I think I heard rumors about this. Maybe they told it to the news that they won't be releasing fragrances for a while, or maybe ever again, because they haven't had the commercial success enough for what they wanted. So, Sean Connery used to wear Guerlain. It's an old school French house. I have watched some of those older movies. I was, I'm a '90s kid, early '90s. I was born then, and I was raised watching more '80s movies. My parents didn't, really promote the newest movies. Really, sometimes we watched the '80s stuff, and I watched one of the old. What was it? it's. I always say it wrong. It's like, isn't Highlander? I think it is. And there can only be one. And there's one that has Sean Connery in it. I haven't watched too many Sean Connery movies, but I remember him here and there. Wasn't he a James Bond at some point? I can't remember too many of the names of the movies, but he's always well dressed. Yeah, I don't remember. Their women's cosmetics are expensive. I think men's colognes are reasonable. Yeah, I haven't. I really don't know much about anything about their women's cosmetics. So, every once in a while, I'll buy something like in a bundle if it's on sale, like from Macy's or something, like a bundle, like a refill package for a purse, like a care package, stuff that's probably not terribly expensive. I've done that for Christmas before, so that was pretty fun. And again, a lot of the stuff we don't have is high end luxury, and it was the best stuff that she's ever had, that she's ever seen. So yeah. Anyways, any new fragrances y'all are into? And again, thank you for the suggestions. Let me know which, if there's a certain type of fashion y'all would like me to get into. If I had the money, you might be picking the right sense of style for me, because if I had money, most people would choose a Bentley car or a Porsche, or something like that. Maseratis are nice. I do respect them, but I'm not a Ferrari person. I respect Ferrari. Of course, they have a beautiful legacy and amazing cars, but I'm an Aston Martin kind of guy. I like the look and the style and the attitude, not because of James Bond or anything like that, because I like the look of Aston Martins and the attitude of sleek, calm, cool, collective, smart. That kind of attitude. So if I had the money, hopefully I'll get there. I could ever afford one. So Sean Connery is James Bond. Yeah. He was one of the actors for James Bond. He is the most famous. Always the most famous one. See, I'm so bad I didn't even know if he's the most famous one or not. But yeah, Sean Connery. James, let's see. I just ordered Bentley for Men. Thoughts? The Bentley for Men Intense. That's a nice fragrance. Patchouli. I forget if it's sage or basil. I think it's basil. It comes out stronger, fairly strong for me. And I don't, for some reason, not everybody mentions that. It's not a bad thing. It does add some masculinity to the fragrance to some people, or that confidence. But I do find it really funny that I've seen a lot of people review and talk about that fragrance. Most of them don't even mention patchouli, and some of them, I guess, they don't look at the notes or aren't confident that they've smelled the individual note, or that maybe they don't know what they're smelling. And I think it's basil. It's either sage or basil, and there's a lot of it. And I pointed that out in my fragrance review. It's not a bad thing, but I did find that it kind of interesting that it became such a hyped fragrance, because I felt like it was a little bit more, not rugged, but like really confident, like and masculine. That I thought that maybe a lot of modern noses might not want something like that. It's not rugged like Fahrenheit or anything like that. So it's not animalic like Koros and or even though it's refined, Anateus or anything like that. So it kind of brought a new age of masculinity, I guess. So I can see why it works. JRM says, good to see you. JRM says, the good thing about fashion is that you can look good, and if you have style, yeah, you don't have to spend a lot of money. Just like fragrance, you can smell amazing or you can look amazing without spending a lot of money. It's really if you iron your clothes, if you take care of them, and you take care of yourself, you don't have to spend tons and oodles of money for that kind of stuff. And I've tried to make that a point on my channel. I do like reviewing and talking about niche from time to time. Again, I do have some more reviews of Roger Dove, some of those fragrances, and I got one of it's not the highest end Terenzis, but one of the higher end ones called Chiron, and I really like that one. I'm going to spoil my review. It's one of the things I said that's kind of shocking in the review. I'm going to end up selling my Hobdon by Parfums de Marly because, again, I don't like redundancy. They're not the same fragrances at all. But if they do similar things for me, and if I'm likely to reach more for one than the other, I'm not a collector. I don't want I don't want 1,000 fragrances. And I like having I like having what I'm going to use and having things stress-free. So Hobdon was a dream come true fragrance that I'd always wanted, and I saved up to get it. And I'm amazed that I got something I think is even better. You'd be surprised, and that might happen to you. You might eventually find a fragrance that's better for you than maybe your favorite fragrance of all time. And your taste change, how you smell changes. If you smell more niche, you might can feel the difference between designer. I can feel the difference between designer, like the quality, but I don't feel it's bad. But I can tell the difference a lot of the time if it with the quality of ingredients. But again, designer's great. I still wear designer. I've seen one fragrance reviewer. He doesn't say it all the time. I only remember him saying it once. But he said like he could never wear a designer, or he could never go back to wearing designer. I don't feel that way. I still wear stuff that some people consider playful or maybe even consider juvenile, like Paco Rabanne, the 1 Million Lucky, the sweet almond, the vanilla almond fragrance. I like it. It works. It's enjoyable for me. I can wear it anytime. Let's see, Sean Connery and Austin Martin are like peanut butter and jelly. Casey, you might understand me better than I understand myself. What do we got going on here? How you spell your name? Is that Heini? Heaney? I'm not sure how to say your name there, Heimlich. But good to see you, Sean Connery, the best James Bond in my opinion. Good evening. Okay, now that I know Sean Connery is the OG, the real James Bond. I know that's an argument for some people, controversial, but I'll accept it. I need to understand James Bond better myself. Let's see. Bavaria. I don't know too much about Bavaria, but I do remember in my memory that it was awesome. I'm not. Is it one of it's is it Slavic? Is that the right way to say it? Is that one of those Slavic countries, Bavaria, or is it or what is it something else? I just remember good things. Let's see here, Mont Blanc Explorer. What are your thoughts? I think I reviewed that. I think I made a review and released that a month or two ago. It's a fine fragrance, Mont Blanc Explorer, not a bad fragrance at all. I thought it was funny that Mont Blanc and Creed have some bad blood. Taylor Swift style between each other, and a lot of brands have been kind of, especially designer wise, been taking clones, especially if it's discontinued. I've been mentioning that recently that, some of these brands have been doing that. So, it's a clone of Aventus, so it's not terribly original, but it brings a more affordable Aventus style fragrance to the masses. Lots of people love it. Lots of people are going to enjoy it, crazy about it. I think it's decent. I've smelled other fragrances that are of an Aventus style I think are better. Napoleon Cologne by Zoha, I think is better. I don't even have the review out yet. I think I'll release that maybe Monday, before the summer months are gone. It's a fragrance called Panara from the House of Boise 1920, and it's kind of Boise 1920's take on Aventus. It's another one, and I wanted to dislike it because there's too much Aventus out there. There's too much, but it still works, and it does a twist on it, and I think it is a good twist and a good take on that DNA. So, Mont Blanc Explorer is going to be a good, affordable, wearable, utilitarian fragrance. Um, if you're interested in the art of fragrances, probably not for you. If you care about smelling good and just going out the door, and it's raining outside. It's raining cats and dogs. Sorry, it's pouring, I think. So yeah. Yeshua, good to see you. Yeshua's Fragrance Life. Good to see you in the house. The morning Fragrance Net had a tester of Dior Sauvage Parfum for less than, is that $80? I missed the deal. Yeah, Fragrance Net, and a lot because of the availability of things, because the world's been crazy. A lot of the prices on fragrances have been, as y'all know, a lot higher, even at discounters. And Dior's are usually not discounted very much. Dior Sauvage Parfum for less than 80 is a steal of a deal. But as y'all know, I feel like the Dior Sauvage line is overpriced. I think it should be less than Bleu de Chanel's, and uh, generally, if I can speak, uh, they are a little bit. But I do think the Bleu de Chanel's are better for the price. But Sauvage Eau de Parfum was my favorite out of the bunch. But as you know, I'm not super into Sauvage, but I know a lot of people love it. So if you like it, of course, wear it, love it, go for it. But Sauvage is interesting. It's I want to try the new Elixir, and I have a feeling that I'll like it better than the rest of them. And there's going to be people who dislike it because it's new or different or doesn't smell like the original. And I'll probably be one of the people who likes it because it doesn't smell like the original. I guess I just got to be that way. Somebody's going to call me a punk. I'm not a punk, but by any means. I've had some people tried to call me like a limey or a lime leg or something, like somebody who goes out in the woods with shorts or something. And then they see how hard I can work, and they see that I can, chop down trees, and I'm not afraid to bleed and stuff like that. And they're like, he ain't no limey. That's actually happened before. But I'm just friendly. And so then some people think you're weak or something. So I try to be friendly. Let's see. Excellent take on Creed Aventus. Thank you. I have tried to do my best, and I have tried to get the word out on Aventus. And again, if you're just popping in and you're just watching my channel, and you haven't heard, Aventus has been reformulated not once, but twice. And please get the word out. I'm not trying to get you to hype me up my channel or anything, but if people do have questions or concerns, or if you do want to help people, please be a part of the people who tries to inform and help people. Not that you not necessarily want to tell people that their favorite fragrance is bad, or that Aventus is bad, or that they shouldn't wear Aventus. But if somebody's considering still buying it, especially a newer batch, maybe give them an alternative. Maybe give them a suggestion of a different fragrance that might be just as good for a cheaper price or something like that. Because again, I kind of do want to lead people away from Creed as a house, because they have done many things that have been bad for the consumer, and I have a feeling that it's going to get even worse. And since Creed, again, we're not going to focus on Creed. This happens almost every time people bring up Creed, because it's such a big force. It's still such a big company, and Creed's not dead. Creed is very alive and very ticking, and most people don't know this kind of information and this kind of news, because still my channel is still pretty small. But Creed, their Viking was if you love it, but essentially was a niche version of Allspice. Then they tried their 10th anniversary edition, which was to test the waters to see if people wanted an Aventus flanker. Their Aventus cologne was like a cheap out, and the only reason they did it is because there was already Aventus cologne or Aventus light or fresher versions that were that other clone houses and other companies had already proven the concept. That was not an original fragrance or an original idea. and there's just and they've cheapened it. I mean, again, Aventus has not been reformulated once; it's been twice. So, anyways, let's see here. Tell us more about Viking Cologne. Is there any magic? I reviewed it. Please go watch my review. I think I've released it. Let me see. Let me catch up with some of the comments though. Ascent of the Night is Mont Blanc Explorer. Read that. Ascent. Excellent take. I read that. Casey says designer often seems lighter. It really depends on the fragrance. There are some excellent performing designer fragrances. Really depends, but yes, in general, niche does want to give you very powerful fragrances, but it really depends. There's Ultramall. There's a number of designer fragrances that are quite strong. Some people consider too strong. So it really depends, but I know what you're saying. Designer fragrances are trying to appeal to everybody, and the general if I can speak tonight, I'm tired. Generally, most people are happy with 6 hours of performance. You might be shocked. You might say, "No, Ben, it's the Centaur fragrance. You're wrong." Most people are not. I'm talking about people outside of the fragrance community, the people who go buy fragrances at the mall, your friends, your mom, your dad, your brother, somebody who doesn't know anything about fragrance. If they can get 6 hours, that's probably more than enough. And I've worn fragrances that were 6 hour fragrances that were average projecting. And I put on 5 sprays before around those kinds of people who don't know fragrance. And they've told me that I'm wearing too much fragrance. So, yeah, again, so brands maybe making an 8 hour fragrance that's beast mode performance might be risky. And again, if it's a party fragrance like 1 Million, that's a really strong one. Especially the vintage, the silver flask, when Angelman or Amen by Mugler first came out, that was a beast mode fragrance. That thing was crazy. I don't know. It settles down eventually. Not that it's weak, but for the first hour or two, for at least on my skin, Men in Black by Bulgari is pretty darn strong in my experience. So, anyways, I'll read some more comments. We won't focus too much on that. I like Guerlain because it performs like niche and doesn't copy all the others. Yeah, not a lot of their fragrances are too much of a copycat of other popular fragrances. Not too much. Guerlain is a real fragrance house at a good price. Yeah, that's true. I don't know of any of their fragrances that are particularly clones. Even their Guerlain Homme, some of their first releases with the Mojito, I spoke very highly about those when they first came out. The Homme, it was like Le Boisé, and there was the EDP version, and I reviewed those, and I spoke very highly of those. I think they're discontinued, and they might be, or I think they're pretty expensive now. So. Again with Viking Cologne, Equball. I did my review. I encourage you to go watch that. But I think it's a good fragrance. It's an improvement on the Viking DNA. I just think it's overpriced for what it is. To me, it smells like a high end everyday fragrance for somebody who has lots of money. To me, if you're looking for a niche fragrance that's for a wedding or a party or a date night or something that makes you feel really special, to me, Viking Cologne is an everyday out and about fragrance. So maybe you like those, if it makes you feel good, and maybe you like really wearable niche, it might be for you. But I think a lot of people who go for niche want something really special. And I don't know if Viking Cologne does that, but it's nice. It does smell good for what it is, especially because of Creed. Initially, I think the prices have already come down, but they asked for $450 when it first came out. It's just way too much for what it is, and again, they're a high-end niche house, and they're trying to play this cologne game. Maison Francis Kurkdjian has done it with their cologne versions coming out of some of their popular aquatics and some other things. So maybe Creed thinks that they can get away with it. But if there's such a brand of such like elegance, serving the kings and queens, and such a brand of such reputation, them playing with flankers to me does not sit right. But I don't know how the how the common person or the average person buying fragrance feels about that. I just feel like it's a bad move. But again, it's a decent fragrance for sure. If you have the money, if you'll have lots of money, and you might like it. Um, Heaney says, "Oh no, Bavaria is part of Germany. Oh, it's part of Germany, south of Munich, the capital. Oh, okay. I'll have to visit. Or I'd love to travel, and I would love to, see that part of the world. My mom's side of the family has a lot of German on her side. My dad's side is more like Irish and all that stuff. But, anyways." Yeah, I'd love to see what that's all about. I like knives as an outdoors person and all that. And Boker is still, I think they're the oldest knife company in the world in history. And I would love to I think Boker, their headquarters is out of I'm gonna say it wrong, Solingen, Germany. And if you want fine knives, again, you got there's fine knives that are made in all kinds of places. But if you want something for your kitchen, you want to buy something from Seki City, Japan. You want to buy something from Solingen, Germany. And there's still some cutlery or knife people still in France, and there's some good ones in Italy. But I would say go for Seki City, Japan, or Solingen, Germany. And I think Wusthof initially came out of Germany too. So good stuff. And Yeshua says the tester was 6.8 ounces. Could you get 6.8 ounce of Dior? Dior Sauvage Parfum, 6.8 ounces. Could you get that for $80? If that was for $80, that was the deal. That was the deal right there. Ronald says, I've smelled Sauvage Elixir today. Oh, you got your nose on it. Oh, tell us more. Tell us more. I wasn't a fan of the EDT, and I thought the EDP was okay. That's how I felt. But the Elixir smells awful. It's not any better. It's actually worse. I did not like it at all. I'll have to try it. If it's even worse than the others, I'm gonna give Dior a hard time. They're losing out to Guerlain, that's for sure. Guerlain, I don't know if it's possible, or I don't know when that crown of sales and that popularity could be taken away from Sauvage because of how popular Sauvage EDT is still going to rock and roll, and it's still going to sell for probably 10 years, just like Aqua di Gio still sells today. But they're kind of losing it. If Elixir isn't good, they kind of lost it, and they're going to have to maybe choose come out with a new good fragrance, or some other brand needs to step up and make another fragrance that can set the trend. So I'd love for Mugler to come back and make some beautiful stuff for us, but I don't know if that dream's going to come true. I'd love for Cartier to make a beautiful designer line for us, or Lalique. There's a lot of opportunity, and surprisingly, Lolita Lempicka, they've been trying, but maybe they can do it. They've kind of been sticking to their original DNA with a little bit of licorice, but I think they have potential. I think they could do it if they wanted to. I think there's a chance. So let's see here. What scent do you wear? I don't chop down too many trees, but again, I live in a forest. Again, I don't disrespect trees or nature. Some people in cities can't imagine somebody chopping down a tree. That's unimaginable. But if if you have land, it needs to be managed. It's actually healthy for you to chop down trees. It's actually good for the forest. And there's things on this property. I just have relatives and people around here who really are fussy and don't let me do too much of it. But there's like 2 or 3 trees that are rotting, that are falling apart, and the wood's already wasted. But it's a health hazard. There's one of them where the main beam is like slanted and it's rotting. And if you walked underneath it, if it wanted to fall, it could fall on you and it could break your shoulder. But people still don't want me to chop it down because reasons and feelings. So I don't try to argue too much about it, but I don't like that the wood's wasted. But most of the time it's oak, which oak isn't bad wood, and I would like to make a good table out of some good oak, but it's not like a really precious wood. So if it was some tree that was about to die or recently died and it was like a hickory or something, I mean, I'd say something about it, or a walnut, or a cherry, or something that was a good wood. So, see, I find Dua fragrances do some nice clones. They do have some fun stuff, and their hybrid fragrances are nice. Their mixes, and especially when they throw in some booziness with some fragrances, that's always nice. Casey Jones says Guerlain is the anti-Creed. They might be. Come on, Guerlain, we believe in you. Guerlain, take that crown. Take that crown from Creed. We believe in you. Has a great history, but doesn't go overboard. Yeah, Guerlain has been consistent. They've been legit. They have a great history. I'm not trying to take away from them, Guerlain, but there are some nice houses that don't get all the love, and I've mentioned them a couple of times. Floris has a big, long history. If you love history with brands, I believe Penhaligon's has an awful lot of history, and there's a couple of these brands out there that have some big history and have a big reputation, and they've stood the test of time. But not everybody seems to respect them or try them in the fragrance community. So, Casey says, Dear Law. Okay, read that. Sent to the Night. Aqua di Gio Asenza. Oh, Asenza. Love that one. That's a good one, Anthony. Blessings from Boston. Boston, good to see you, my friend. Hey, isn't that where they have the Philly cheesesteaks? I need one of those. Help a brother out. KC says Guerlain has been around since the mid 1800s. I don't think any of their current ones are their first releases. Yeah, I don't know if they've kept any of their original fragrances. Creed certainly hasn't. I don't think they have any of their old fragrances that are still in production. So Connery wore Habit Rouge. Oh, he did. He did. That's a good one. Aroma of the Heaven says, I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Yeah, I hope that we're having some fun in here. We're having a pretty good chat. We will get to the new releases and check out some fragrance news. And if you do want to talk about that, your weather, is it getting cooler for you? It's still hot here, but it's starting to cool down just a little bit. It's not cool, but it's still hot, but it's not as hot as it used to be. So we're not to the fall yet, but I feel like it's almost around the corner, and we're hoping for it. So let me know how's the weather been treating you. It was still really hot today for me. Aroma from Heaven says, I love Zwillings. Oh yeah, those are good. Those are actually my family's favorites for some reason. My grandparents and my parents chose that brand, and that's the one they like. Those are good and dependable. I think I think it was my dad had one. He said he was going to throw it away. It was old. The handle was still fine, but the blade was really beat up. And I was like, I'll sharpen it. Don't throw it away. I'll use it. Just don't throw it away, because there's still a lot of life in it. But you know how some people get, like, out with the old, in with the new. But like something like that will last you forever. I mean, for generations, if you treated it right. But yeah, good. Those are good too. Zwillings, you get your money's worth. Ron Nelson says, Mugler, I wish they just make some products of some of their classics. Yeah, it's we're missing them. I don't know what's happened to them. I don't know if they're going to come back for us and with some good new fragrances in the future. Yeah, there's a lot of brands that are doing funny stuff, like John Varvatos, for example. They've done some attempts for like celebrity fragrances, like collaborations, like with one of the Jonas Brothers and some other ridiculous stuff. If they would actually give us consistently like really good fragrances, I mean, there's a lot of people in the fragrance community. There was one point where lots of people were talking about them, and lots of people liked them. But a lot of the popularity it's kind of settled down. There's not a lot to say or talk about. I think everybody knows about the good ones from John Varvatos. Which ones they are. I don't think I even need to say them, but Ronald says Lalique released white and black. Yeah, that's a good one. That's kind of a flanker, but I've heard it's good. I received a couple samples. Smells like Leighton, but performance is quite bad. Still, I will grab a bottle. Oh yeah, so it's still good enough to get it on sale. I'll have to try it. I don't like that it smells like Leighton. If it does, not sure, but that's a shame. I wish that a lot of these brands are doing these clones or semi-clone fragrances, like inspired, like where they take some of the style, like doesn't necessarily smell the same, but they know how the style and the composition works with the blending, so they'll use different notes that creates a similar effect. and a lot of brands are doing this for like little cash grabs, especially within designer fragrances. Sometimes designer fragrances are gone. They make them and they're gone within like a year or two, so they're not around for very long. And a lot of people have short attention spans, and people always want the newest and bestest thing. So the speed of which they make new fragrances. So that's one of the reasons why designer fragrances these days kind of don't have the attitude of making masterpieces, because they say, oh, we're going to discontinue it in a year and a half or 2 years anyways. Why put that much effort into it like that? And anyways, let's see. Casey says Floris and Guerlain and Eight Bob. Eight Bob has some good history. Yeah, I like their Egypt. Egypt was really good. Penhaligon's are great. Yeah, old school houses. Yeah, and without. Yeah, I mean they're niche. Some of the to some people they're expensive, but they're priced fairly reasonably for what they are. I don't think they're overcharging terribly for what you're getting. Some of them are still kind of expensive, but they're good. I think I released the review. I forget if I record some of these. I record and I don't know if I've released them yet, so I don't want to spoil the reviews because I lose track of all the stuff I review and all the stuff I try. On Instagram, somebody told me today that I try everything. I've smelled everything. I mean, I haven't, but it kind of says he kind of was expressing his feelings or opinion that I get my hands and I try to smell and try almost everything, and I try to. There's still hundreds of fragrances out there, maybe thousands really, that I haven't smelled and reviewed, but I try. Yeah, I do want it. Again, I was going to say that Roaring Radcliffe, it's expensive, but I mean, if you're willing to put your money on something like Leighton, why not try something like Roaring Radcliffe or some of these other fragrances? It's a pretty darn good mass appealing fragrance. Roaring Radcliffe and some of the others like from Penhaligon's, and Demion Concentrate also is pretty darn good. Some people, I do feel like it has similarities to not Leighton, La Nuit de l'Homme by Yves Saint Laurent, but it's a good fragrance. It really is. Page of Style says scent of the day is Nefs by Nishané. I've heard really good things about Nefs. I don't think I've tried that one yet, but Nishané is a great house. I really do respect them. One of my favorite houses with Amouage out there. Need to get my nose on Manugu, and they have it was like ombre. There was like an ombre one. Anyways, it was like a fresh semi vanilla something. There's some good ones. I need to try the rest of them. Casey says, "Ha, Philly cheesesteaks are Philly. Oh, not Boston. What does Boston have? Are they the deep dish pizzas? I cannot remember right now. Anyways, Casey says Boston is clam chowder and the baked bean. Sounds fun. I haven't visited there. Is Boston Hot Wings, or is that somewhere else? I forget. One place is like where Hot Wings started, somewhere in that area. So, Paige says I want to try a sample Roaring Radcliffe is nice. I think Paige, I don't know if what you feel or gender or anything like that. I think anybody can wear it. I think it's marketed more towards men, but of course everybody can wear it. It's nice. Let's see. Matt says lobster. Yeah, lobster's nice. I want to get one of those fancy lobster rolls. I've seen those on TV, but I've never had a real lobster roll. And they have special buns, and I'm told you got to have the right bun. You got to have the right bun for the lobster roll. You can't just use plain white bread. You can't just use any bread. You got to have the right roll. And I've seen it on TV, and looks really fun. I'd like to have one of those things. Page of Style says I read that. Casey says Buffalo is Buffalo is Hot Wings. Out of Buffalo, is that New York? I might be mixing things up. I need to visit up there and learn all this stuff. Paige says Buffalo is Hot Wings. Casey, Chicago's deep dish. Okay, yeah, Chicago's the deep dish pizza. Paige says I would say Maine is more known. Oh, Maine's more okay. That's what I thought. Yeah, Maine's more known, well known for lobster. But anyways, great conversation. It's been pretty fun. Let's talk about the new fragrance news. Let me refresh this page. We'll jump into Fragrantica, and we'll see if there's anything new. See here. Funny enough, we were talking about Guerlain on the front page of Fragrantica. They're speaking about Guerlain Homme, still a great fragrance. I don't know if it's still produced anymore, but solid fragrance. Should be more popular. Versace Pour Homme is still popular, still sells very well, still in production. Guerlain Homme, their Mojito Lime fragrance. I don't know if it's still made anymore, but should have been. Okay, let's see here. We got some new fragrances here that might be interesting. We got Frederick Mall, a really nice house. They got one called Synthetic Jungle. Don't know. I'm guessing most of the. I don't know if it's supposed to be futuristic or industrial. Maybe all the notes are synthetic. I don't know. But let me read you the notes. We got black currant, basil, galbanum, hyacinth, jasmine, ylang ylang, almond, lily of the valley, patchouli, and oak moss. Sounds fun. Sounds like a full-bodied, um, sweet, green floral, rich fragrance. They describe it as a chypre. Interesting. And I like that jungle idea. Jungle is a fun name. And I talked about Kenzo Jungle. And again, I don't know how much influence we have as fragrance reviewers or people, but I've talked about some of these things, and I don't want to hype myself up, but I do want to mention this. I won't talk about it like I've been cheated. I mentioned it before, people taking ideas, but I'll just throw this out there real quick again. I started the thing where fragrances, cheap fragrance, affordable fragrances that smelled expensive. And then people started making it a tag, and now it's gone full circle. And I won't say who it is, but you know who it is on this channel. I saw recently kind of use that. So this is the kind of stuff that happens in the fragrance. That's almost like why I don't know if I want to be creative, too creative. But anyways, yeah, people are copycats in this world, in fragrances and everything. People are in the knife world. I'm into knives. People copycat each other all the time. It's ridiculous. People steal ideas. Hey Judd. Hey, good Judd. Good to see you. I'm from Buffalo, and yes, it's New York State, but closer to Canada. Okay, I haven't been over there. I don't know about Canada. I don't like the cold that much, but I might have to see what Buffalo is all about. Maine and New Hampshire are lobster rolls. Okay, I hear you. I hear you. Judd says, "Sup, cuties? Anything guys would tell me to get instead of Le Labo Rose 31." Definitely try Rose d'Arabie by Armani Privé, the high-end Armani line. It's expensive, but it's gorgeous. If you're looking for a good rose, that one's really good. I really personally like Oud Unlimited from the House of Amber Oud. You might say, why are you suggesting a Oud when I talked about rose? Well, the Oud's more in the background. It's actually more of a grapefruit rose fragrance, like a bright, clean, watery rose, more than the Oud. And it's really nice. So I'd probably suggest trying those. If you want more of a darker rose and you're not so much for a stickler for quality, or you don't want to pay a lot of money, there's Rose Ink by Kieran NYC. You might want to try that. Casey says Rhode Island is clams. Okay. Yeah, my parents are all about the clams, and I think they're more for oysters, but kind of similar things. They're decent, but it took me a long time to warm up to mushrooms. But one of the reasons I didn't like them too much because I like them cooked into things or fried. I don't like mushrooms on their own. Mushrooms they can be on pizza, but they have to be cooked really well. I don't like raw. So, Paige says, "How are you feeling about Dolce Gabbana the One Gold?" I'd like to try it. I'm not super personally excited about that line. It's a decent line. I know a lot of people like it and respect it and all that good stuff, but the line's decent. But I'm not. I couldn't say. I wouldn't say I'm excited, but I'm still willing to try it. So, who is copying? A lot of designers are copying niche, and a lot of these more affordable niche houses are copying what's popular. So everybody's copying each other. Everybody's taking a piece of the pie. And I always thought when I was younger, I was raised on like Barney, like I love you, you love me, and everybody cares about each other. And I forget who it was. There was some popular singer who joked about that in one of her songs or something, like a year or so ago. And I was raised on that generation too, that everybody was looking out for everybody's best interest and everybody was intentionally doing the right thing. And everybody, at their heart was willing to, break their leg or give you their shirt on the back. Not everybody's like that. I was raised like that around those kinds of people. And I've learned now that the world's not like that. That's not how maybe not most. I don't want to judge everybody, but I'm not like that. But the world's not like that. You got to watch out. You got to watch your back. Watch your six, as they say. Are you still beefing? I never fought Brooklyn Fragrance Lover even once. I never had a feud with him once, so I don't know why you're even bringing that up, Casey. I have no idea why you're bringing that up. I never fought with him. Ben Cancillo says just got in Ramon Monagal. La Isla Blanca. Haven't opened it yet. Great summer scent, I've heard. Ben Cancillo says top notes are aldehydes, ginger, and anise. Middle notes are almond blossom, heliotrope, and jasmine. I don't. Which Blanca. It sounds nice. It sounds clean and floral and fresh and sensual. I do like ginger, so we'll have to see what that one's like. Matt says, I meant who is copying your video topics? I'm not going to say. It's kind of a bunch of people. So I don't know who started it. But I mean, in general, people are doing it. But this one has gone full circle. And I don't have to get credit for everything. And I'm not trying to act like I'm the biggest and the best, but sometimes when I'm doing one of the only few people doing individual fragrance reviews, and I've slowed down on my really creative ideas, but I still have pages of them. I could throw you 100 videos after this one that were original ideas that nobody else has done. But for some reason, other people can take those ideas and then get the clicks, and it does drive me a little bit crazy that other people can take the ideas and not give you credit. So I'm not mad about it. I'm just joking about it and having fun. But it's a crazy world, isn't it? It's a crazy world. Everyone is copying. Yes, everyone is. Everyone copies video topics if it will get them views. If it's a good idea. Brooklyn Fragrance Lover. Rest in peace, Casey. I'm not sure where you're getting at. It's like I never had a feud with him. Against, I don't know if it was you or somebody in the past had brought up. Like, one time I pointed something out on something on Facebook, and just to clear things up, and I actually said something not to divide people, but to bring everybody together, because he was posting something that was wildly inaccurate, and he didn't even actually argue with me. And he actually took down the post. So he never fought with me about the topic. And I've never opposed anything or never had a back and forth. Never one. I can't remember ever having a disagreement with him. So rest in peace. And he's not, I don't know if you know, but he's not copying anybody. So, and I don't know if you know, Casey. Anyways, Paige says, why is everyone bringing up? I don't know. I don't know what the intention, and I don't know what the purpose is like behind that. Like, I mean, I'm not going to analyze his life, and I only have good wishes towards him and his family and those people in the fragrance community who dearly loved him. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure. So yeah, he did. Casey. You might want to check out Redolescences. He talked about that, and you might want to. Yeah, it's. I mean, you're not gonna make me mad, that's not gonna bother me. But if you would have said that on certain people's fragrance channels, you might have really gotten riled up. And like, I'm not gonna take offense to that. But yeah, do be careful. It's like I try to be. Exactly. Like I try to be nice to people. I'm not saying you're mean, or anything like that. But some people might say stuff like that to intentionally be mean. And some people, I don't think anybody's raw or too sensitive about that anymore, but people did take that pretty bad. So it was it still might be a sensitive topic for some people. So yeah, I was watching some of his videos. Oh yeah. He has a big collection of videos for sure. He still gets a lot of views. I bet he does. He has a collection. He seemed, for the most part, he seemed like a really cool guy. I don't want to get into any of the arguments he and other people have had. Again, I didn't argue with him, but as far as I know, it was only times he had gotten emotional and maybe was influenced. Again, I'm not going to say anything bad about him. He was, anyways, we won't get into any of that. So, yeah, I think he did. I think he was a good influence in Fragcom. So I'm just going to leave it at that. So he's pretty good overall. Tab if you're using live streaming. Oh, okay. Ben says, what do you think of Tom Ford's Oud Mineral? I think I reviewed it. I know that I've talked about it before. I thought it was good. I thought it was interesting. I think, what did I say? There's a fragrance out there called like concrete or something. I think is it Narciso? No, it's Oud Mineral. Noir Anthracite. That's the one. I said if you liked Noir Anthracite, you probably wanted to try Oud Mineral. Decent fragrance. If you $115 even for 50 mils is a pretty decent price. It's not super mass appealing to some people, but I found it pretty wearable. But again, I felt like that was the people who said it wasn't easy to wear. Probably were the people who still liked really mass appealing fragrances. I think Oud Mineral was pretty darn easy to wear. Before you commit yourself to a bottle, I mean, unless the deal is going to run away from you and you already are a big fan of Tom Ford, you might want to go for it. But get a sample of Vodka on the Rocks by Kilian and see which one you like better. They're different fragrances. They do different things, but they have some similarities. So when did you get a new setup? I actually moved my outdoor recording somewhere else and to a new location. So I have some new videos and you haven't seen any of them yet, but they're actually going to look different. I hope that they look better, but they're not going to have as much of the plants. It's going to be more of a grass, like a field behind me, but I hope that y'all still like it, the scenery and all that. But yeah, this is more of like my indoor recording, and I do this because it's a thunderstorm outside, and I don't want to be outside in the rain, and it allows me to control the lighting, and it's just more comfortable. I got myself a nice little studio chair, and I set it up, and I get to be, and you get to hear better quality audio with this mic. So I hope that you like it. See, but thanks for the questions. I missed the bugs buzzing. And you missed me talking in the dark, huh? Well, I'm not going to do that so much, unless y'all really want me to. But I don't know. I'm not for these lives. I'm not. I don't think I'm going to do the lives outside anymore. I'd rather do the lives here, and also because I'm fairly close to like a walking trail, and there's kids and random people out there who listen and spy, and it's just annoying for me to try to have to like watch my back. And I'm not you might call me paranoid. I don't like anybody watching me, watching my back, the strangers. So Matt says, I just tried Tom Ford's Santal Blush. Smells a lot like Santal 33, but not so sharp. Little more refined. If I ever tried that one, it's been a long time. That one still in production? I thought it was discontinued, but yes, looks nice. It looks nice. Page of Style says Oud Mineral is great. They stripped it down in the new release. Oh, did they re-release it and make it cheaper? Oh, okay. So now it's even more mass appealing. It might be a good aquatic to go for. Casey says you need some art in the back, maybe some oil paintings of chopping wood. I do need to get myself a little setup. I could put some fragrances behind me and all that. I'm hoping that I can improve my life so I can actually have a good setup. Sorry about that. A good studio, and I could actually make things look a lot more picturesque and pretty. And but I have this set up right now with this paint job because I can use this for a green screen if I want to. Again, I don't have a great computer, but I've been trying to use that green screen so I can stream. And that's why it's set up this way. It might look funny. This might look industrial or something. Spies? What are you spying? No, that it's not a problem, Casey. It's just people on a walking show, random people who probably don't know what my channel is. They probably don't even know what I'm talking about. But there's kids, and they'll spy on me and stuff. There's random stuff that happens all the time around here. And I'm not. I don't know if I'd say I'm a private person, but I do like privacy from time to time. I don't always have to be private, but it's it's to me it's bothersome when I'm trying to concentrate and give my full energy and attention to you. I don't want to have to worry about some random person like watching me, over there. I mean, do you like a random person watching you in the woods, like 50 feet away or 100 feet away? It just is not a fun thing. I like the look of the new studio. Mike looks good, better than the iPhone running out of battery. Yeah, the iPhone, my phone was always running out of battery, and that's another good improvement. So I don't run out of power anymore. At least not, not. It's not going to happen here. So, uh, thank you for mentioning that. Anyways, let's talk about some new releases. I do want to wrap this up a little bit. I feel like I need more water. Again, I was working out in the heat. I was sweating up a storm. I need some hydration. But there's a new fragrance from Montal called Blue Matcha. So like matcha tea. This is a new one. Don't know if y'all are too excited about Montal. I never pay full retail for Montals, but anyways, matcha tea. Blue matcha does have matcha tea, citrus, black currant, patchouli leaf, cedar, leather, tobacco, base notes of mate, ambergris, powdery notes, and musk. It sounds nice. I don't want there to be a lot of powdery notes, but that does sound like a lot more of a mass appealing composition than Montal usually does. And maybe Montal is going to start making slightly more mass appealing fragrances, and that might be a good improvement. Another new fragrance that's coming out is Salvatore Ferragamo. It's called Spicy Leather from their new collection with that new bottle look. Saffron bergamot lemon is what we got on the top. Black pepper, nutmeg, clary sage, and cedar. Leather, patchouli, sandalwood. Looks like a solid fragrance. I do like spicy and I do like leather. So, hey, looks good. There's a new Mercedes coming out called Mercedes Benz Woman in Red for the ladies. Got notes of mandarin orange, pear, cherry blossom, pistachio. Pistachio is fun. I do like pistachio. Jasmine, gardenia, tonka bean, benzoin, patchouli, sandalwood. Nice notes. I'd like to see a lot of that cherry come out. That looks like a solid composition as well. I just ordered Ancre Noir Lalique. What to expect? Expect an inky fragrance, like a something that smells inky, like dark and balsamic, like balsamic vinegar. Expect something that's a little bit sour, a little bit sharp, a little bit dark, a little bit gothic. It's a good fragrance. It is worth its money, especially if you. I don't know if you can find as much of a deal as you could anymore. You used to be able to find it for $25 odd, sometimes even less, for a bottle of Ancre Noir. Still a great value out there, great value for money. But I've tried to warn a lot of people, and I've tried to get the word out. It's a great fragrance, and a lot of people from time to time blind buy it because it's so hyped, and it is such a good value, but it's not exactly a mass appealing fragrance. It's a inky fragrance, and it does have quite a bit of a vetiver aspect to it. So not everybody likes vetiver, and not everybody likes the ink in the fragrance. So let's see here. What that be, the Appalachian Trail? Yeah, maybe it is, or the Natchez Trail, if you know what I mean. I like Montal. I think they're perform quite well and unique. Mansara and Montal are good. Yeah, they're great performers. They give you your money's worth, even though at full price they are kind of expensive. They still kind of give you your money's worth. It's just that, as y'all know, they're kind of risky. Some of them are good, some of them are misses, and some people like some of them and some people don't. They're a mixed bag, that's for sure. It's like those Bert's every flavored beans from Harry Potter. Or a box of chocolate, from Forrest Gump. You never know what you're going to get if you blind buy a Montal. You're playing with fire. You're taking a big risk. Let's see here, though. Casey says Montal see deeper while Monsara lighter, but performs well. Yeah, both of them are nice. With Monsara, you do get an extra ounce with the 4.2 ounce bottles. I do see your point. Both are solid performers usually, though. Casey says, I have no idea that Cool Water was Davidoff. Oh, you didn't know. You didn't know that. Davidoff is one of the best cigar makers in the world. I'm not too much into the cigar world, but I need to. I'm not rich enough for that, but I'll have to see if I can try and learn about that stuff. Casey says, I would like to compare Ancre Noir with Zegna, New York. Prices are similar. They sound similar. I'm not too familiar with New York, but I do want to try it. Ancre Noir is its own fragrance, but if you're familiar with classic fragrances, it's probably more similar to Dave. It's from Davidoff as well. I can picture the bottle Zeno. It'd be more similar to Zeno than anything. Yeah, from Davidoff. Anyways, let's see if there's any other new fun fragrances that we can talk about. Le Labo has a new one called Cedrot 37 Berlin. So kind of an industrial woody fragrance. Some people seem to really like Le Labo. I don't want to tear them down, but I've never connected with Le Labo personally. But I hope that I can find one that I actually like. The Dua has a new fragrance called Fruitylicious, like a fruity fragrance coming out. They have a new Casino Royale. They have a lot of those fragrances, but it's a new flanker called Cotton Candy Night. So maybe it's a sweeter, more playful version of it. So a new brand has a couple of fragrances called Testament London. Don't know where they're sold. Don't know if that's a gimmicky brand, but I have seen a Naut or Newt before, N-O-U-T. I've never tried their fragrances, but there's some new ones of them. There's a new Demeter called Watermelon Blossom. The new Prada Luna Rosa Ocean is out. It should start hitting stores. We got Electimus has a new fragrance called Mercurial Cashmere. Electimus is a new niche house. Makes some pretty nice stuff. Calvin Klein has a new fragrance called Euphoria Intense. I believe that one's for the ladies. And there's not really anything else. I'll go look here at the comments, but I don't know if there's anything else that's particularly new today. I'd have to see. Are there any fans of Euphoria by Calvin Klein in the house? Is there any excitement for that? Let me know. Let's see here. I've been disappointed with Burberry. Yeah, the performance isn't always the best. If you can find them on sale, they're decent. Burberry is one of those that I don't know if I'd pay full retail for them, but could you do some Guerlain reviews? I haven't gotten my hands on too many of the high-end niche Guerlains, but again, I do have that Guerlain L'Homme EDP on the way. I think I've reviewed the L'Homme. I think I already did a review of the first fragrance a while back. I don't think I've reviewed any of the others. Honestly, I haven't got my hands on too much of them recently. But again, I did review the original Guerlain Homme, the EDP, the Boisé, and I used to include them in the top 10 list all the time when they used to be easily available. I spoke really highly of them, but I'll try to get my nose, and maybe one of these days I can afford and get a bottle of Tonka Imperial and explore more of the Guerlains. Again, I don't have anything against vintage, but I usually don't hunt. I like experiencing some of them for points of reference, but I'm probably not going to buy full-size bottles of vintage Guerlains to review them. So, but let me know if there's any in particular you really want me to review. I'll try to do my best. So, Casey says, I have 5 Burberry colognes from the 1990s. Man, has been good. Happy that you like it, Casey. Matt says, Ben, what do you think of Bortnikov? Oud Maximus is good, but Sayat Nova smells like McCormick vanilla extract. I don't think I've tried Sayat Nova. I don't remember. Have I tried Maximus? I have tried some Bortnikovs. I tried Was it called Vetiver Nocturne or something like that? Is a very wild fragrance. It was very creative. I gave it kind of a mixed review. I have reviewed that. I think I know I reviewed reviewed. I don't know if it was lost. I think I released the review of Sir Winston. I spoke pretty highly of it. I thought it was a pretty respectable, grown up, like a leathery tobacco fragrance. Sir Winston was pretty good. Probably one of their better fragrances the first try from the house. But Bortnikov does have some very loud, big, bold personality fragrances that are more for the connoisseur, more for the aficionado. If you like things that smell mass appealing that you would like, that everybody else would like, Bortnikov might not be for you, but they got some decent creations. But I haven't kept up with everything they've done. Just like a Riege Lador, I've dabbled a tiny bit with some of their Riege Ladors, but I haven't kept up with every release. They make some good stuff, I hear. Casey says Calvin Klein products are so cheaply. Yeah, they're not the best quality. That's for sure. Tough to get excited, yeah, but they'll hit discounters, and then they might be useful. So Guerlain, not high. What Guerlain, not high normal stuff. Hobbit Rouge, Albazé. Yeah, that wasn't their high end stuff. Yeah, that was you're right. That was more of their designer level stuff. But yeah, I haven't dived into the high end Guerlains too much. Aroma says Bortnikov is the greatest. They do have some nice fragrances, and from what I hear from some of the connoisseurs like Waft from the Loft, they love Bortnikov. So I have every single Bortnikov. If it's the oil version or the extrait. Oh, so you really like them and you like the oils. So I like Sir Winston from the ones I've tried. I need to try more of them. But so I remember that Sir Winston was probably the one I would buy. But it's probably one of the ones that's less risky or less unique. But nice house. I do need to try more of their fragrances. Casey says, could you do some reviews on the affordable Guerlain options? I'll try to. Again, I'm going to get you a review of the Guerlain L'Homme, the Ideal, the EDP version, the Smoky Cherry. I'll get you a review of that one. But I'm not a collector, so at any one time, I usually don't do sit down videos where I show you a whole collection of fragrances. I never have the intention, even if I was able to do that, it's not like I could do another video and highlight them or you make another video of some sort of comparison of collections or something like that, like a certain line of fragrances, because I would have sold a bunch of them or all of them at that point. I'm about to sell a bunch of fragrances from my collection again, because if I don't wear it, I don't like redundancy, and I got to be able to afford new fragrances, so I got to sell stuff. So what is Bortnikov? Bortnikov is a high-end niche house, pretty respectable. They're not the most expensive, but if you're familiar with designers, they're going to be fairly expensive. Most of them are upper 200s in the $300-ish range, depending on which ones you're looking at. So they're not the most expensive niche, but they are expensive. And some people really, really love them. Sorry about that. Really respect them. They're a little bit deeper into the world of niche. So you might, if you're not so familiar with niche houses, you might not know about them. Like a Riege Lador is pretty well loved. Lots of people are crazy about them. And there's some people who are really crazy about Bogue. I really want to explore a lot more of the Boadicea, the Victorious, that house. So are those loft guys really in a loft or green screen? To me, it looks like a church of some sort. It looks like a cathedral. I don't know if they're faking it. I don't know. I don't want to make a guess or accuse them of anything. It looks legit. It's convincing if it's fake, but it looks real to me, but I don't hear any echoes. But again, some of those cathedrals or churches were built for sound and chorus and singing. So they're made so you don't hear echoes, anyways. Some of them actually improve the sounds, and of voices. So it's really hard to tell. Anyways, Bortnikov is expensive line produced Russian perfumer who lives on sources as oud from Thailand and other Asian places. Good information, Matt. Thank you for helping us. Aroma says they're actually expensive considering, yeah, they're 50 mils for 350. Yeah, they're pretty expensive. But I don't know. I try to evaluate things, and some people jump to saying something's really expensive, and I don't know. I've seen so many fragrances. I try to give perspective because at this point, I've seen and smelled like some of the Roger Doves that are $1,800, $3,000. I've seen some fragrances that can go as high as that. So I don't know. To the average person, yes, 50 mils for 350 is very expensive. And again, I don't buy fragrances like that very often, if at all. So that is expensive. But in the world of fragrance, as far as niche goes, to me, things start getting really expensive as far as niche goes. Once you pass maybe the $500 range. Once you pass that, the 400 or 500, especially if you get to 600 or 700, that's where I say that most fragrances like cap out. That most fragrances aren't. There's not a lot of fragrances that are more expensive than that, but there are some. There's not a lot of fragrances that cost more than 700 or so, but there's crazy stuff out there. If you want to spend your money, somebody's got something for you to buy. So, let's see. Honestly, they're all worth it. Hey, Aroma, you love them, and Pete. So I know there's a lot of fans of Bortnikov, and somebody loves them because they're making new fragrances and people are buying them. So, Casey says, how many different fragrances do you wear in 1 week? It depends on how many I'm testing. If I'm testing a lot, I usually wear at least 7. I mean, I wear fragrance every day, usually, but it depends on how much I'm testing. There's been times where if I'm including different fragrances from samples and testing, I don't know. I might wear 20 fragrances in a week. I usually don't do more than that. I think 1 week I might have tried more than testing 20 and wearing more than 20 fragrances in a week. And I think I messed up. I was messing my sleep up, and I think it was messing with my skin chemistry or my health. So I don't think it was healthy to do that. So I slowed that down. So I don't think that's very healthy. I was finding skin all over my arm and my hands, and like I felt like half of my body was covered with fragrance, like my chest to my arms, and I was just covered with fragrance. So, what is the fragrance that you wear the most often? I don't really stick to one fragrance, but if we're talking about one all-time classic fragrance that I've probably worn the most of throughout my entire fragrance journey, it's probably Versace Pour Homme, one of the best fragrances of all time, a classic. It still sells. If you forced me to have to wear one designer fragrance for the rest of my life, and especially if I had to consider the price and the availability, and I mean, Versace Pour Homme is a serious contender. I might just pick it because it's affordable. It works anywhere, anytime. And it's just solid. It's just respectable. So, anyways, I don't see any other new fragrance releases. Let me see if there's any others that catch my interest. There's a new Atelier. I think it's just a special edition. I don't think it smells different. It's a flanker of Orange Sanguine called Lovebirds. Lovebird something. It's like I don't think the notes are any different, but that's about the only other thing that caught my eye. Is there any other new releases or anything that y'all have seen that you thought was interesting? So, anyways, if there's not anything else, I'm gonna invite y'all to my Instagram. We're about to creep up on 8,000 on Instagram. Love the community over there. I share my pictures, Scents of the Days, unboxings, and much more. I love how easy it is to interact with y'all every day. and get to know your sense of the days and be a friends with you. And if you do want to message me and ask me a question and get a hold of me, I guess you could email me, but the best way to get a hold of me is messaging me on Instagram. And I'd love to see you over there as a friend and interact with you more regularly, and have you join me over there. But I'm going to wish y'all a happy weekend. Have fun, enjoy life, cook something good, and enjoy life. Hang out with friends and family and all that good stuff. And I do, again, as y'all know, I just have to mention this to remind all of y'all, because some people don't know. I upload every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, usually around 2 to 4 p.m. U.S. Central Time. So keep an eye out. Be ready. And I always I try to produce a good amount of content and good reviews and be in depth and give you good information. Again, nothing is wrong with the top 10s, and I do them from time to time, but I haven't done a top 10 in a while because I haven't felt doing like a top 10. I feel like if I'm to give you good information, 5 minutes isn't even enough sometimes. Sometimes I have to give y'all 10. There's some of my reviews, I used to try to force myself to do 10 minutes because I had some people who used to tell me that they thought it was ridiculous, and they said that they would never watch a video that was longer than 10 minutes about a fragrance. Well, maybe they can watch for a couple minutes, and maybe they don't want to spend more time watching my video. But if it takes me, and I have a lot of good information and helpful information, and I think that I have 15 minutes of helpful, worthwhile, not wasting your time, information that is going to benefit somebody who's considering buying this fragrance or understanding this fragrance, I'm going to release some like 14-15 minute videos. So again, please support me if you do like that, because I'm one of the only people doing reviews like this anymore. One of the last people. Thank you, Casey, again for the encouragement with the great chat. Matt says, I caught you a few times on Twitch. Very entertaining. Thank you, Matt. I try to joke around, and I haven't got on Twitch too much recently. Again, I don't have a good computer, and I don't have solid internet, so it keeps cutting in and out. But I would love to do that a lot more. I do. I like a lot of games, but recently I've been liking some indie RPGs and FPS. I love the Metro series and Vampire the Masquerade, and I've already played it way too much. But if I had enough people watching me and we could just sit back and joke around, I love Knights of the Old Republic so much, an older video game, that I've already beat it way too many times. I have the game like memorized. But if we could kick back and have fun and joke around, I'd always be tempted to play that with some of y'all. So anyways, have a happy weekend, everybody. I wish you the very best. I hope that you had some fun, learned something new, got to share your sense of the day, what you've been buying, got able to share some of your fragrance hobby or fragrance passion and connect with fellow fragrance enthusiasts and friends. And I hope that it was a good time over here. So Matt says the first Far Cry is my favorite. I don't know if I've played that one. I know that I've played one of the Far Cries, but I need to play the first one. I'll have to see if I can get my hands on it. Casey says Mike Tyson's Punch-Out was a great video game. I don't know if I've tried that one. I'd have to revisit my memory or look it up. So I'll have to look into it. But yeah, have some fun, my friends. Take it easy. And if you're in a thunderstorm like me, hey, you might pull up a video game and play a video game. So who hasn't played Mike Tyson Punch-Out? I might not. I played some of those, games, those boxing games, but it's been so long, I don't remember which one's which anymore. So was that an N64 game, or was that a PC one? I don't even know. Anyways, I'm gonna let y'all go. Thank y'all for having some fun with me and hanging out. Anything else y'all want to say before I go? No, original Nintendo. Oh, okay, original Nintendo. Yeah, see, I might have missed that one. I haven't played. At college, I had a friend who had an emulator, and I got to play Simon's Quest. But I might have played that one. I just don't remember. But I'm a pretty big fan of Castlevania. So Konami, what have you done with one of the best franchises in the world? We won't get into that. Konami, we're going to get you. Oh, my goodness. So, have a good weekend. I'll see everybody. Thanks for being a friend, and enjoy your fragrances. Enjoy those fragrances, and see you soon, everybody. Peace out, and bye. Have a good one.